Red carpets can be fun, but if you don't do your research beforehand, it can go pretty wrong. Number 10, Taylor Swift versus E.T. If there is one thing that should be known about Taylor Swift, it's that she can end entire careers with one conversation. In 2015, Taylor was on the red carpet for the Grammy Awards, where she was interviewed by Entertainment Tonight. The woman who interviewed her started the interview by asking her cameraman to pan up and down and literally check Taylor out with a massive camera, which that's not weird at all. After going along with the bit and telling the camera about the dress, the interviewer then said that she honestly just wanted to look at Taylor's legs because, as she said before the show, Taylor is going to be going home with more than a trophy, perhaps a man. Well, Taylor didn't appreciate that comment or the assumption. She did not laugh and proceeded to tell the interviewer that she would be going home, but just not with any men. She just wanted to go hang out with friends and then maybe home to her cats. While the majority of the interview went well, the interviewers were reprimanded behind the scenes by Taylor herself and her team, and the news of Taylor's dislike for the interviewers made its way up to the top, where the ET executives decided to keep these people off the red carpet for a while. Remember, keep your creepy camera gestures to yourself, lady. Number 9, Vitaly Sejic versus everyone. This man has done some truly disgusting things to people for the sake of views. He's grabbed people's legs, attempted to force himself on people. He was even arrested after running on the stage at the Grammys. But his most explosive interaction, and the one that really sealed his fate, was his interaction with Will Smith. Will was walking the red carpet in 2013, giving people interviews, when Ukrainian comedian Vitaly Sejic approached him, a man who is unfortunately world famous for being an absolute horror to celebrities. He pretended to be a reporter and started to walk towards Will and tried to give him a kiss on the cheek and mouth. Well, Will obviously shoved him backwards and gave him a little "hey buddy," and then just gave him a little backhand to the face. A team of security following Mr. Smith picked this guy up off the ground and carried him away like a toddler, which he is. Who knew Will was practicing for his Oscar slap all the way back then? Sejic was finally reprimanded for his actions, and he was actually made to pay a hefty fine for attempting to force himself on Will Smith, but needless to say, this guy works for himself now and security knows his face. Number 8, Amy Schumer versus Kim and Kanye. In the mid-2010s, comedian Amy Schumer was named one of Time People's top 100 most influential people and was made to attend a red carpet event to celebrate with her fellow influencers, two of whom were Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, the power couple of the century. While discussing the incident on the Graham Norton show, she revealed that the whole thing was a planned prank on Kim and Ye. Her goal was to get them to crack a smile and get some good fun pictures from the event, but Kim and Kanye did not find the situation funny and continued to walk past Amy as she fell in front of them. The best picture is just Kim staring at Amy for a moment, being like, "Oh my god, is that really happening?" While the moment was meant to create a fun scene, it instead made Amy look like she had a grudge towards Kim and Kanye. Now, while not an interview, the incident on the red carpet forced Comedy Central to postpone a season of her show until things were sorted out with Kim, and it turned out not only did Kim not care, but she actually did end up finding this kind of funny in the end. With the two apparently now being close friends, Amy even made a cameo on Kim's new show, The Kardashians. Number 7, Hugh Grant versus handcuffs. While attending the Dutch premiere of his rom-com Music and Lyrics, Hugh Grant got the shock of a lifetime after a fan got way too excited and took their admiration to a whole new level. Television journalist Silka Sibin approached Grant and he thought that it was an interview, but then she handcuffed herself to him. For about 10 minutes, the patient but frustrated Hugh Grant just waited and watched while several people started snapping pictures left and right. After the fire department finally released them, Sibin was taken away by police. While this may have seemed like your average Hollywood interaction, the news stations she worked for did not appreciate this gag. She was fired from that station, making 2 reporters taken down by the Hugh Meister in his career. Hugh Meister? I don't know. Let's use it. Number 6, Jim Carrey versus the world. Jim Carrey is known for his hilarious personality on and off screen, but he gave Kat Sadler from E! News and Daily Pop an awkward interview on the red carpet at Harper's Bazaar Party in 2017. The interaction started with Jim slowly circling Kat as she attempts to express her confusion and excitement that Jim Carrey is at a Fashion Week event. Was the man known for being an incredible artist, bringing that talent to the fashion world? No! He was just mad. By 2017, Jim had made a name for himself as an oddly serious guy who tended to venture into the realm of energies and universal concepts when he gets into deep conversations. He started this conversation with, "This is meaningless." He continued to say that he wanted to find the most meaningless thing he could attend that night, That event was a celebration of icons and celebrities, according to Kat, to which Jim said that he didn't agree, as in he doesn't agree with the concept of icons. He continues to give a small speech about not believing people are really real, that we're all just a field of energy, and that peace lies beyond personality, man. The entire time the interview is taking place, Kat is just visibly uncomfortable and just counting down to the moment that Jim says something funny or even remotely related to fashion, but instead he just shares his thoughts, tells her she has a nice fragrance, and walks away. While Jim's career had already started to slow down at that point, this clip became viral and studios were wondering if he might be a good fit for anything. A lot of scripts with his name on them were rewritten or just simply kept to themselves, right up until 2020 when he made a comeback in the surprisingly fun Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So here's hoping for a third one sometime soon.
And at number 10, we have Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen, who is known for his outrageous comedic stunts, actually got banned from the Oscars because they were too afraid that he would do something crazy on the red carpet. It was reported that a few days before the 84th Academy Awards, Baron Cohen's tickets were pulled, meaning that he was banned from the show, even though he's an Academy member and was one of the stars of Hugo, one movie up for Best Picture. With the statement from the Oscars reading, quote, "Unless they're assured that nothing entertaining is going to happen on the red carpet, the Academy is not admitting Sacha Baron Cohen to the show." This came after rumors were swirling that Baron Cohen would show up in a costume on the red carpet. So I mean, maybe that was a little valid, they need to protect their show. And at number 9, Kanye West. So as we know, Kanye West is famous for his incident interrupting Taylor Swift on stage at the MTV VMAs, and embarrassing both of them. So after a crazy event like that, it's not hard to assume that he was banned from award shows for a long time after. It's such a common theory that a satire site, the Adobe Chronicles, even published an article saying that he was banned from all award shows after he interrupted someone yet again on stage at the 2015 Grammy Awards, with them saying in the article that all the TV networks have joined the, quote, West boycott. And even though banning Kanye would make a lot of sense, it hasn't officially happened, but after having incidents in 2009 and 2015, I'm sure networks are hesitant to invite West to any awards. And I would assume he's banned from ever presenting, that's for sure. And at number 8, Richard Gere. Richard Gere was not only banned from the Oscars, but also China after he made a controversial speech at the awards ceremony. In 1993, Gere was presenting on stage, but he took the time to criticize the Chinese government and speak in support of Tibet. After this speech, Gere was banned from the Oscars for years, until he was allowed to return in 2013 to present an award with his castmate from Chicago. During that period of exile, he continued to speak out on behalf of Tibet and other international causes. So I guess the ban didn't change much about him being vocal, just not on the Oscars stage. And at number 7, Carmine Caridi. Actor Carmine Caridi was actually the first person to ever be kicked out of the Academy. He was expelled in 2004 because the Academy learned that he was sharing movie screeners with other people, which are obviously very against the rules. Caridi spoke to The Hollywood Reporter about the incident, saying in the interview, quote, "Let me tell you something. Everybody does it, okay? I was doing a guy a favor and he screwed me." And this was actually starting to become a real issue in the industry, with the former MPAA chief imposing a ban on all screeners to combat piracy, with the Academy members being the only people allowed screeners. Apparently Caridi gave them to a man that would copy them for himself and then send them back to Caridi. Caridi was also sued by all major studios for the action, so clearly if you're ever in that position, just follow the rules. I mean, it's really not that hard. And at number 6, Miley Cyrus. When the 2020 Grammy Awards went down, tons of fans were wondering why Miley Cyrus wasn't in attendance, although she wasn't nominated, performing, or presenting, so there could have been a host of reasons. But Miley decided to call out all award shows when she posted a video of her on stage presenting at the MTV VMAs, lighting up a smoke on stage during the performance, with that obviously being a throwback picture, with the caption reading, quote, "And we wonder why I'm not invited to award shows anymore." But of course, tons of celebrities loved the subtle shade and commented their support on her Instagram post, with Alexander Wang writing, quote, "Don't ever change," and Lisa Renner writing, "I'd have you at mine if I had one."
Bjork versus the Oscars. Next up on our list is not only the most memorable outfit from any award show, but it's also the strangest. In 2001, musician Bjork made an appearance at the Academy Awards where she was nominated for Best Original Song from Dancer in the Dark. She appeared on the red carpet with a massive swan draped over herself, and while thankfully not a real swan carcass just, drenched over her shoulders, the dress was a creation from designer Marjan Bajoski, meaning someone took the time and effort to make this dress. Thankfully, I'm not the only person who thought this was a little bit of a weird choice. A lot of comments from that evening include people calling her a duck, claiming she should be institutionalized, and one celebrity just kind of looked at her and was like, In the years that followed, the dress was parodied several times. Ellen DeGeneres and Kevin James even wore the same outfits on the Academy stage a few years later to attempt to poke fun at Bjork, but all they did was look silly and make the world giggle. Number 4, Mayim Bialik versus E.T. Mayim is a hilarious woman, okay? She is best known these days for her role as Amy Farrah Fowler on The Big Bang Theory and for being an absolute slayer on the red carpet. For those who don't know, she has a legitimate background as a neuroscientist. She started out as an actor when she was like 12 years old, appearing in commercials and sitcoms in the 80s, but as time went on, she shifted her focus from acting to math and science, and actually went to school for neuroscience and Hebrew studies before going straight into a PhD program. She actually met someone in school that she fell in love with and divorced, and is the mother of 2 younglings with. This woman is awesome. Even more awesome was her response to a bit of a rough question, and under-researched one at that. So the interviewers clearly didn't prep for this red carpet event, but meant nothing by this question. Mayim was asked if people thought that she could solve calculus in real time at the drop of a hat. She responded by reminding the interviewers that she actually did train in calculus for years because she's a neuroscientist, and both of the hosts just looked horrified and said, well, a little tidbit to the audience, hey, she really is a neuroscientist. Over 300,000 people watched that happen, and the responses were mixed. Some people felt that it was just a little bit of a mix-up, but a lot of people bashed the interviewers for not doing the bare minimum before asking her a question like that on live TV. They continued to be hosts, but now when people know Mayim is on her way to the red carpet, research is priority number 1. Number 3, the Oscars in 2012. The Oscars red carpet saw a couple of really fun moments in 2012, mostly caused by Sacha Baron Cohen. First thing that happened was Ryan Seacrest doing his best when suddenly Sacha appeared with an entourage and fully decked out in his General Aladdin gear from the film The Dictator. He was telling Ryan that he wanted to come tonight and spread the ashes of his fallen friend and doubles tennis partner Kim Jong-il. The situation got heated after Sacha dropped Kim's ashes all over Ryan. Ryan brushed them off quite literally and honestly took the situation in stride. He was just smiling and trying to get the substance off of himself. Ryan admitted at first he wasn't sure if there was anything in that urn, and he knew Sacha was gonna do something, but there was 100% something in that can. The best part though came after the situation when the cleaning crew came over to vacuum up the mess, and did it while Jason Segel was making his way through the crowd. The person cleaning the mess ignored him and just vacuumed over his feet. Jason is shocked and takes a step back, and there was also a wardrobe malfunction for Jennifer Lopez, who accidentally had a tip slip when she was presenting Best Costume Design. There have been many shocking Oscar moments over the years, but the 2012 red carpets and its, ceremony were just a bit much. Thankfully though, it was a memorable night, no questions asked. Number 2, Gary Busey versus Jennifer Garner. Gary Busey is an interesting and controversial fella in his own right. He was a big movie star and then arrested, and then he became everyone's sleep paralysis demon. I'm sorry, I got a little scared there for a sec. In 2008, he gave the world a little heads up that he might not be all there upstairs, because Jennifer Garner, best known for Elektra or her new film The Family Switch, which is not great, was on the red carpet making her way to her seat when suddenly she was approached by Gary. Someone asked him if he knew or had met Jennifer before, and without saying anything, he just leaned in and kissed her on the neck. Her face is one of pure shock and confusion. When Gary did not immediately step back, she called for her husband at the time, Ben Affleck, to step in between them. Busey has been blacklisted from Hollywood for a lot of reasons, but this is just one of the many examples why. And at number 1, John Travolta versus Idina Menzel. A while back in 2014, John Travolta flubbed the name of one of the most famous women in musical theater history is at the Oscars. That year, he was supposed to introduce Idina Menzel ahead of her performance of Let It Go, because she was, Elsa from Frozen, fun fact. But she was also Elphaba, the musical Wicked, and a ton of other shows. She's just incredible. But for this event, she was promoting Frozen and showcasing a piece of music that ended up getting stuck in everyone's head for the rest of their lives. Please help me. And John Travolta was just so confident in his delivery of her name. He introduced the audience to the wickedly talented, one and only Adele Dazeem. The moment spawned a lot of parody Twitter accounts and even an Adele Dazeem name generator that turned people like Jared Leto into Jed Lopez, which I think is better, and Matthew McConaughey into Michael Mazzoline. That sounds like an X-rated superstar, you know what I mean? The following year, the two appeared on stage together where Idina decided to drop a little revenge. She was set to introduce the next round of nominees, and as a little joke, the Oscars decided decided to bring her and John onto the stage together. She introduced John by his new name, glamorous, and the interaction between them was a little forced, but it was nice to see that they played the whole thing off for fun instead of making it an actual incident. And since then, John triple checks things before he goes on stage, which better safe than sorry. But
we are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Bill Cosby. In 2018, Bill Cosby was unwelcome at the Emmys. The Academy said that they are erasing his name from the Emmys website and removing his bust display. Now, they didn't say he was officially banned from the show, they just said that he's not welcome there, which basically means you're not invited. Don't come, don't show up, we don't want you here. This is due to the fact that Bill Cosby has taken advantage of a number of women throughout the years. In our 4th spot today, we have Tekashi 6ix9ine. In 2018, Nicki Minaj was invited to perform at the MTV VMAs. She was invited to sing her song Fifi, which was originally a Tekashi 6ix9ine song featuring Nicki Minaj, but later turned into a Nicki song featuring Tekashi 6ix9ine. But Nicki Minaj didn't want to perform the song without him, so she tried her best to swing it so that he attends the MTV VMAs with her. But sadly, he never got approved by the officials. Nicki ended up revealing on one episode of Queen Radio that, and I quote, "I don't want anyone to think for a second that I wouldn't invite him to perform his hit record. I want everyone to know my character. I wanted him to perform with me at the VMAs, and somewhere along the line he didn't get approved to perform by the powers that be." In our 3rd spot, we have Ricky Gervais. If you watched the 2020 Golden Globes, then you know exactly why Ricky is on today's list. He took the opportunity as the host to make jokes about Hollywood. He called a number of people perverts and joked about serious scandals and issues in the industry. A lot of attendees were left completely shocked by his speech. And I guess so were the officials behind the Oscars. When it was time for the 93rd Academy Awards, Ricky was not invited. He poked fun at this by tweeting his speech from the Golden Globes and captioning it, "It's the Oscars tonight, I wasn't invited. Was this something I said?" Coming in at number 2, we have Marilyn Manson. Now, this one isn't that shocking considering that the Antichrist superstar has done some pretty controversial things over the years. You know, like taking a broken beer bottle and cutting himself open on stage with it, or urinating on the crowd. That alone is why he doesn't get invited to award shows. But just recently, 5 women came forward saying Marilyn was abusive towards them. One of the women was his former partner, Evan Rachel Wood. Due to these allegations, his guest star appearances in a number of shows have been removed, like American Gods and Creepshow. So if they're removing his scenes in shows, there's no way they're inviting him to any award shows. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Kevin Spacey. Back in 2017, actor Anthony Rapp claimed that when he was 14, Spacey made a sexual advancement towards him. This empowered other victims to come forward. Over the years, a number of men have come forward claiming that Kevin Spacey tried to make advancements on them or that he has taken advantage of them. Kevin Spacey is now blacklisted from Hollywood and will not be attending any award shows anytime soon.
First up, we have Emma Roberts. The actress is certified Hollywood royalty, being the niece of Julia Roberts, but that didn't save her from getting cancelled last September when her co-star Angelica Ross spoke out against her. The two of them starred in American Horror Story together, and according to Angelica, it was nothing short of a nightmare. Apparently, Emma irritated almost every actor on the set because she was playing mind games with people. Angelica said, "My blood is boiling because I'm like, if I say something, it's going to be me that's the problem. I know this because there was someone who spoke up about what she was doing and they got repercussions from it. Not her, they did. So she chose not to report it because she felt she would be retaliated against." After that incident, apparently the two of them didn't speak for the rest of their time filming together. She also claimed that Emma yelled at directors and tried to compare salaries with her co-stars, all because she was trying to make it very clear that she was number 1 on the call sheet and she was the one in charge. So it sounds like she was terrorizing people in general, upsetting other actors, and throwing her weight around in an insufferable way. Once this story came out, there was intense backlash against the actress and problematic past behavior. So it's safe to say she won't be on the red carpet for a little while. Next up, we have Star Trek actor Zachary Quinto, who was exposed for his horrible behavior online. A Toronto restaurant called Manita recently accused him of berating staff staff, driving the host to tears and freaking out other customers during brunch. They posted a statement on their Instagram story saying, "Zachary Quinto, an amazing Spock, but a terrible customer. Yelled at staff like an entitled child after he didn't reply to 2 texts to inform him his table was ready, and refused to believe the empty tables in the dining room weren't available for him despite being politely informed that they were spoken for." The message went on to say, "Made our host cry and the rest of our brunch diners uncomfortable. Mr. Quinto, take your bad vibes somewhere else. We have many lovely celebrities join us at Manita, but you are not one of them." Zachary is most known for playing Commander Spock in the Star Trek movies between 2009 and 2016, and has gone on to have a very successful career ever since. He was also a fan favorite in American Horror Story. The potential PR dent comes at a sensitive time for the actor, considering that he has a new medical drama coming out called Brilliant Minds, which is set to premiere in the fall. So it's no surprise that fans are upset about this news. After all, you have to be a pretty entitled celebrity to get yourself banned from a restaurant. That brings us to James Corden. The famous talk show host is now one of the most hated celebrities in Hollywood, and a lot of it comes down to what people say is his fake personality. On screen, he seems to be a funny and lovable guy, but in real life, it appears to be a different story entirely. Some of the allegations against James include him reportedly screaming at staff at the Balthazar restaurant in New York because his wife received an egg yolk omelet with egg white in it. He was banned from the restaurant, and the owner claims he is the most abusive customer ever. In 2010, a moment of genuine drama unfolded at the Glamour Awards ceremony as Corden clashed with X-Men star Patrick Stewart on stage. As he walked up on stage, Stewart told Corden to get his hands out of his pockets and accused him of looking around as if he would rather be anywhere in the world but here. In response, Corden said, "Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I am so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it." Stewart kept the argument going though, and things got incredibly awkward for everyone watching. Truly a bizarre moment in award show history. Next on the list, we have Amy Schumer, perhaps the most hated comedian in the world. Amy Schumer has gone through her fair share of hate, including multiple viral YouTube videos with titles such as "Watching Amy Schumer Until I Laugh," where the video is actually 1 hour long. Reasons behind the hating of Amy Schumer include allegations of her stealing jokes, and the proof is pretty wild. One user on Reddit pitched their opinion on the comedian, saying, "I really liked her on Inside Amy Schumer, so I went and got tickets to one of her comedy shows. She was an hour late to the show. After some time, the crowd got restless, so they sent some poor intern or something to fill in the time to tell some jokes. Everyone booed him. When Amy did show, she showed up drunk, did about 40 minutes of bad jokes, which just basically involved insulting the audience, and it was over. It was the worst show I've ever been to. Hated her ever since." Moving on to Chrissy Teigen, the cookbook author faced heavy criticism in recent years following reports of cyberbullying. Many celebrities came forward to accuse Teigen, including Lindsay Lohan, Farrah Abraham, and Project Runway star Michael Costello. Teigen publicly apologized for her past behavior multiple times, including in a lengthy post on Medium, which she shared on social media. She also opened up about being in the cancel club following the controversy. Teigen wrote on Instagram in July saying, "Going outside sucks and doesn't feel right. Being at home alone with my mind makes my depressed head race." She ended her post jokingly asking if there is a cancel club reunion she could attend. From there, she was dealt a huge blow after reports circulated that retail giant Bloomingdale's had pulled out of a deal it had in place with the model. Macy's also said that it's not actively selling her cookbook Cravings on their site, and it's difficult to see how her career will recover from such bad publicity.
Starting off this countdown, we have Paris Hilton. In 2008, Paris Hilton was banned from attending the Oscars. She thought her 1.1 rating film The Hottie and the Naughty was big enough to land her a seat at the award show. Sadly, it wasn't. According to a source, and I quote, "Paris cried hot, salty tears when she was banned from the Oscars. She's desperate to be taken seriously as an actress and hoped she would be able to network with film executives." Another source revealed that Paris and a number of other women were banned from the Oscars to prevent the evening from turning into, and I quote, "down market scrum." Not scum, scrum. That's insane. But don't feel too bad for Paris, she still managed to sneak into the after parties. Coming in at number 9, we have Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson was another woman banned from the Oscars in an attempt to keep it more classy. The same source as I previously mentioned said Pamela Anderson was another woman they banned to prevent the evening turning into downmarket scrum. Frankly, they are scrum for doing this. The source continued on saying, and I quote, "They plan to focus on those people who have worked in the film industry for years, not people who are merely celebrities in other areas." In our 8th spot, we have Morgan Wallen. American country music singer Morgan Wallen was banned from the 2021 Billboard Music Awards after a leaked video surfaced showing him using a racial slur. He was banned despite receiving 6 nominations that year. The award show announced that they were banning Morgan, and I quote, "As his conduct does not align with our core values, we will not be including him on the show in any capacity." This isn't the first time he got banned from an award show though. On February 3rd, the Academy of Country Music announced that he was not going to participate in the 56th annual award show. They said, and I quote, "The Academy does not condone or support intolerance or behavior that doesn't align with our commitment and dedication to diversity and inclusion." So it looks like Morgan is banned from a couple of award shows, and who knows if he'll ever be invited back. In our 7th spot, we have Miley Cyrus. I don't know if you noticed, but Miley Cyrus was missing from the 2020 Grammy Awards. Now, some artists chose to skip the show for their own personal reasons, but it seems like Miley just wasn't invited. On Instagram, Cyrus posted a throwback clip of her performance from the 2013 MTV EMAs. She captioned the video, "And we wonder why I'm not invited to award shows anymore." In the video, we see Cyrus light up a joint on stage and take a couple of drags. Could this be why award shows aren't inviting her? Because of her past award show behavior? Seems like it. Miley's celebrity friends were quick to like her video and post encouraging comments like, "Don't ever change," and "I'd invite you first, TBH." Honestly, Miley's just a good time. Like, let's start a petition to get her unbanned. In our 6th spot, we have Kevin Hart. Back in 2019, Kevin Hart was scheduled to be the host for the 2019 Academy Awards. However, old homophobic tweets of his from 2009 and 2011 resurfaced online, and he was immediately blasted. Just to give you an idea of how controversial his tweets were, one of them from 2011 said, and I quote, "Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, 'Stop, that's gay.'" To make matters worse, Hart even did stand-up routines talking about how he was scared that his son was going to be gay. Now, instead of apologizing and attempting to keep his role as the host, Kevin voluntarily stepped down and said he will not apologize for his past tweets. He said he's done apologizing for them. He said, and I quote, "There's no more conversation about it. I'm over that. I'm over the moment. I'm not giving no more explanation of who I am. I'm just done." I don't think Hart will be getting an invite in the future, but who knows. Halfway at number 5, Schitt's Creek. It's impossible to think that this lovable group of Canadian icons was almost left out of an award show because of the show's name. But that's actually what happened. At the Emmy Awards, they were so adamant about the rule that there would be no swearing in their broadcast that they almost banned the name Schitt's Creek from the show. When host Jimmy Kimmel mentioned Schitt's Creek, which was nominated for 15 Emmy Awards, the show's logo appeared on the screen, all this so nobody would mistake for, shit. Like, honestly, we might have had to bleep out Schitt's Creek too, the way that I'm saying it does. It's meant to sound like that. Jimmy Kimmel even found it so ridiculous that he even made a joke that this kind of censorship is why network TV is dying. And at number 4, The Weeknd. Even though The Weeknd had a phenomenal year and his album After Hours got commercial and critical success, he was noticeably absent from Grammy nominations. People have a lot of theories as to why they think that this happened, but most of them think the Grammys blacklisted the star because he went against them. Even though his past Grammy recognition has been stellar, with him having 3 wins and 10 nominations in total. One reason is that The Weeknd was very critical of the Grammys in an interview for the Rolling Stone, talking about their category changes, saying, quote, "R&B and black music is such a wide variety. If they pull us all into one category, I still think it's not fair. We'll see how it goes." Maybe his comments were why he wasn't included. Another theory is surrounding the Super Bowl, as the star was picked to perform at both the Grammys and the Super Bowl. A massive honor, obviously. But people think that the Grammys didn't like the way it was negotiated, and decided to shaft the singer for choosing the Super Bowl over the Grammys, essentially. And at number 3, Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish called out the Grammys big time after she was asked to host the Grammy Awards premiere ceremony, but turned down the offer after being told that she would have to pay her own way there. After this was brought up in the media, Recording Academy interim chief Harvey Mason Jr. posted a public apology on social media, saying he was unaware of that offer, saying in the Instagram video, quote, "It's just been brought to my attention that the Recording Academy invited Tiffany Haddish to host this year's premiere ceremony. Unfortunately, and without my knowing, the talent booker working the Academy told Ms. Haddish that we wouldn't even cover her costs while she hosted this event for us, adding that it's wrong and he's ashamed of that decision." Haddish commented back later saying, quote, "All of that would have to come out of my pocket. I don't know if this might mean I might not get nominated ever again, but I think it's disrespectful." Based on the way it played out with public support being on Tiffany's side, I think she'll still be good in the graces of the award show, but hey, they might take the embarrassment out on her instead. Who really knows? And at number 2, PricewaterhouseCoopers accountants. Back in 2017, the Oscars had one of their worst blunders to date when the Oscar award for Best Picture temporarily went to the wrong film, which was the fault of the accountants who were supposed to ensure the winners were announced correctly. After the embarrassing mistake, the Oscars banned the 2 accountants who were backstage at the Oscars for not rectifying the situation soon enough. Brian Cullinan was the accountant that gave the card to the presenter, causing the whole situation. But the other accountant, Martha Ruiz, did not directly cause the situation, but she didn't do enough to fix it after it happened. When talking about the ban, the Academy said, quote, "I'm sure they're very lovely people, but they just didn't have the disposition for this. You need someone who's going to be confident and unafraid," one of those sources told the Wrap, explaining that Martha failed to react to the drama fast enough. And that was, of course, La La Land getting the award instead of Moonlight that actually won that year. And finally, at number 1, Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is probably banned from hosting any more award shows ever after his shocking monologue at the Golden Globe Awards in January of 2020. In the monologue, he starts off by saying it's his 5th time hosting, and he really doesn't care anymore, which he made very clear by saying he didn't care like every few minutes of the monologue. Starting off saying, quote, "You'll be pleased to know that this is my last time hosting these awards. I don't care anymore." I'm joking, I never did. NBC clearly didn't either, 5th time. In the monologue, he took shots at basically all the people in attendance, even calling the Hollywood Foreign Press Association racist and saying that Netflix is taking over Hollywood. Saying at one point the show is going to be doing a quote in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of who died, it wasn't diverse enough. Then going on to trash action movies, saying, quote, "They wear masks and capes and really tight costumes. Their job isn't acting anymore. It's going to the gym twice a day and taking steroids." And yeah, after calling the people that hired you racist, I don't think he's expecting a call back.
Next up, we have Jonah Hill. Earlier this year, the actor and comedian was exposed online by his ex-girlfriend who claimed that he was controlling and misogynistic. These events have collectively sparked outrage, mostly from other women who said they've had similar experiences in relationships. It started on July 7th, when Sarah Brady shared a series of Instagram stories detailing Jonah's behavior while they were together. She posted DMs and texts that she claims were sent to her when they were dating. She wrote, "Sharing this publicly now because keeping it to myself would causing more damage to my mental health than sharing it ever could do. This is a warning to all girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Call me if you need an ear." So what was in these messages? Well, one of them appears to show him chastising her for posting photos of herself surfing in a bikini. When she deletes some of the photos, Jonah allegedly tells her that it's a good start, but that she still doesn't seem to get it. He explains what kind of behavior he feels is crossing his boundaries. This includes her surfing with other men, modeling, posting pictures of herself in a bathing suit, and having friendships with women who are in unstable places. Another celebrity who isn't allowed on the red carpet anymore is Russell Brand. In September of last year, several women made allegations against him, and more disturbing stories have come out about him since. The actor then had his YouTube account suspended, as well as other channels associated with his main YouTube page. He denied everything and issued a video message on social media saying that the stories about him were from a time when he was still acting in the movies. But that was not enough to stop Russell from getting cancelled. His management agency, Travis Stockwood, terminated all professional ties to him, saying in a statement, "Russell Brand categorically and vehemently denied the allegation made in 2020, but we now believe we were horribly misled by him." Paramount Plus then removed one of his stand-up comedy specials, and the BBC said it removed some content featuring the actor, saying that it now falls below public expectations. After all that, it's pretty clear Russell will not be welcomed back to Hollywood or any celebrity events that he used to attend. Next up, we have Doja Cat. While her music is still as good as ever, Doja Cat is constantly finding herself in hot water these days. After losing nearly 1 million followers for hating on her own fans, she seems to have alienated her remaining fan base by wearing a shirt featuring an extremely controversial person. The picture has now been deleted from Instagram, but not before it was seen by millions. In the photo, Doja is posing in her car while wearing a t-shirt that shows a controversial comedian. After fans called her out on Instagram, she removed the images but left a blurry photo of herself in the same outfit on her Instagram story. She then uploaded a cropped version of one of the pictures, but fans made sure she knew that they hadn't forgotten about the controversy. Not too long ago, she called out some of her stans for creating their own unofficial nickname for her loyal fan base because she didn't sign off on it and she clearly hates the name. She went on a bit of a Twitter rant and wrote, "My fans don't get to name themselves. If you call yourself a kitten or effing kittens, that means you need to get off your phone and get a job and help your parents with the house." Doja ended up losing more than 500,000 followers, and to this day she has not changed her opinion. Moving on to Justin Timberlake, whose reputation took a nosedive after his ex Britney Spears released her memoir, The Woman in Me. In the book, she reveals that she fell pregnant during the relationship but claims that she was forced to end it. She said, "It was a surprise, but for me, it wasn't a tragedy. I loved Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day. This would just be much earlier than I'd anticipated." But she said that Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said that they weren't ready to have a baby in their lives and that they were way too young. Britney revealed that if the decision had been left up to her alone, she never would have done it. But she only did so because Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father. Looking back at the experience, she said, "To this day, it's one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life." So it's no surprise the internet has been looking back at Justin's past actions with distaste, from how he publicly discussed his relationship with Britney to the media and insulted her after it was over and using her to launch his career. It's no wonder fans have totally turned their back on him. And lastly, we have Sacha Baron Cohen. The comedian was swiftly cancelled this year when actress Rebel Wilson spoke out against him in her memoir. She said that she felt humiliated by Sacha on the set of the 2016 movie The Brothers Grimsby. Rebel said she would never be on a movie set with him again and went on to describe the nightmare of working with him behind the scenes. It was so bad that she said that no sum of money, not even $50 million, could convince her to work with him again. A representative for Sacha then came out with a statement in response saying, "While we appreciate the importance of speaking out, these demonstratively false claims are directly contradicted by extensive, detailed evidence, including contemporaneous documents, film footage, and eyewitness accounts from those present before, during, and after the production of The Brothers Grimsby." But clearly, fans were already turning against him by this point, and the backlash was intensifying. It didn't help that Sacha had a reputation for causing trouble. Back in 2012 at the Oscars, he had an infamous interview with Ryan Seacrest. It was a complete mess. While still in character from one of his movies, Sacha emptied an urn all over Ryan and the ashes went everywhere. It was a complete disaster. No wonder reporters tend to avoid him on the red carpet.